This could get very interesting. We might have the debut tonight. I said, wouldn't a triple-double be a great way to debut these the signature shoe that Nike drug its feet on? Yeah. I seen some folks. Dan Wetzel went on Dan Patrick today, talked about how Nike dropped the ball here.
This morning, one of the most unexpected conversations in basketball took another wild turn. What began as a debate about Michael Jordan, Nike, and Caitlin Clark somehow evolved into a discussion involving Sophie Cunningham. On paper, that combination makes almost no sense, yet it has become one of the hottest topics in the sport. Some even suggested there couldn't be a better moment for Clark's long-awaited signature shoe to debut than after a triple-double performance. Around the same time, analysts, including Dan Wetzel during an appearance on Dan Patrick's show, argued that Nike waited far too long to fully capitalize on Clark's incredible momentum. A few months ago, hardly anyone would have connected these storylines. Now, they seem impossible to separate. The reason is simple. Nearly every major basketball conversation eventually circles back to Caitlin Clark. Whether it's television ratings, sold-out arenas, merchandise sales, sponsorships, or non-stop social media buzz, her influence keeps expanding. At this point, it almost feels like Clark could post a picture of an ordinary sandwich and the internet would spend the rest of the day turning it into headline news. That's exactly where this fascinating story begins, because once the buzz started growing, it never slowed down.
Caitlin Clark, right? I voted just like I would in any other league. The best players. Somebody did, or actually something I thought about, nobody else thought about, I thought about it, was the idea that South Carolina, you notice Asia Wilson and Aaliyah Boston were so up there in the voting, and the Aaliyah Boston thing is somewhat shocking to me in all this. Caitlin Clark being fifth, but Aaliyah Boston having so many votes kind of opened my eyes, and I was like, is there a South Carolina thing going on here involving more South Carolina fans are watching Fever games because of Raven Johnson? And actually, I was a little shocked Raven Johnson went further up the vote.
After months of anticipation surrounding Caitlin Clark's long-awaited Nike signature shoe, excitement had reached another level. Fans were counting the days, analysts kept discussing it, and even people who rarely paid attention to basketball sneakers wanted to see what Nike would reveal. Then the conversation suddenly shifted in a completely different direction. Instead of focusing only on Clark's shoe, people began asking what her incredible popularity meant for everyone around her. That is where Sophie Cunningham unexpectedly entered the spotlight. The timing made the discussion even more interesting. The Indiana Fever were playing better basketball, team chemistry looked stronger, and Clark continued delivering impressive performances that generated fresh headlines after nearly every game. At the same time, Cunningham's name kept appearing alongside those stories. It was not because of controversy or drama. Fans simply noticed how often she was mentioned whenever conversations centered on leadership, trust, team energy, and standing behind teammates. That growing attention sparked even more curiosity. Soon the Nike debate blended with comparisons to Michael Jordan's business impact, sending the entire discussion down a fascinating basketball rabbit hole. Ironically, the shoes were never the real story. They simply became the spark that highlighted something much bigger. Companies spend years searching for athletes who can attract casual fans, increase ratings, and create genuine excitement. Caitlin Clark has done exactly that in record time. Attendance continues climbing, television audiences keep growing, merchandise sells rapidly, and countless new fans have discovered the WNBA because of her. That kind of influence is incredibly rare, which is why so many believed Nike waited too long to fully embrace the moment. Once previews of Clark's signature shoe finally surfaced, everyone had an opinion. Some loved every design, others debated the colors, and many fans joked about buying every version before release. That level of excitement matters because businesses pay attention whenever demand keeps growing week after week.
But, I mean, if you're doing it based on being worthy to be in the game, I mean, they're not going to flood Raven Johnson in there. I wouldn't think. I don't know what. I mean, it was when that fifth in the voting came out yesterday. I was like, holy shit, what the hell is going on here? Pretty surprising. Pretty surprising, but, and I cannot stress this to people enough, this is an entertainment product. And there are so many people that are not entertained right now. And it's hurting the entire league. You're seeing it. The overall vote total. People want to consume what they want to consume. They're like, you know what? This is not entertaining as it was. I'll turn it over and watch the World Cup. I'll turn it over and watch Major League Baseball, whose ratings have went up, by the way. You know, and there was a not that many weeks difference between the start of the Major League season and the start of the WNBA season.
That growing excitement eventually led the conversation somewhere few people expected. Fans began realizing that Caitlin Clark's success was creating opportunities far beyond her own career. Her teammates received more attention, Indiana Fever games attracted larger audiences, and media coverage expanded almost overnight. Sophie Cunningham naturally benefited from that spotlight as well. Not because anyone handed her special treatment, but because visibility creates opportunity. The more cameras followed Clark, the more they captured the players around her. More interviews led to more stories led to more recognition, and suddenly Cunningham was no longer viewed as just another member of the roster. She had become part of the larger conversation surrounding the Fever. What made this especially interesting was that fans, not the media, pushed her into that role. Every time discussions focused on the team's culture, Cunningham's name appeared. Whenever people talked about teammates who supported Clark, her name surfaced again. At first it seemed like a coincidence, but after it happened repeatedly, the pattern became impossible to ignore. Cunningham had quietly become one of the most recognizable personalities on the roster. She might not receive every headline, but fans increasingly connected her with the team's identity. That matters because basketball supporters do not only follow superstars. They also embrace players with confidence, energy, and personalities that stand out. Cunningham fits that description perfectly. As Clark's popularity continued rising, interest in Cunningham grew right alongside it. Every interview, every social media clip, and every sideline interaction became another reason for fans to pay attention. Meanwhile, the Fever kept improving on the court, creating even more momentum. Winning generated headlines, headlines attracted larger audiences, and larger audiences created even greater interest. Before long, fans were analyzing team chemistry and bench reactions almost as closely as the final score. Once people connected Clark's influence with Cunningham's growing popularity, the discussion accelerated quickly, and Nike's upcoming shoe launch only poured more fuel onto the fire.
Right along, Caitlin Clark reveals that Nike Caitlin won, okay? It looks like it's got to be the shoes. The sneakers are coming out. Those kind of fire. Those are kind of fire. Those are pretty fire. I'm not really a blue guy, but I don't care what color these Caitlin ones come out in. I'm getting them. I'm definitely getting them. Then we see this with Travis Scott previewing the all black ones. These are hard. See, these are hard. These are hard right here. Yeah, I like these. Yeah, I'm sold. I'm getting every colorway that comes out. You can count me in for every single colorway. Book it.
Then the highly anticipated shoe previews finally arrived, and the conversation exploded once again. Images spread across social media within minutes as fans shared screenshots, debated their favorite colorways, and imagined which version they wanted most. Some preferred the bold blue design, while others leaned toward the darker styles. But one thing became clear almost immediately. Demand was enormous. At that point, nobody was questioning whether Caitlin Clark had become one of basketball's biggest stars. That debate had already been settled. The real question was just how far her influence could extend. That is exactly why Michael Jordan's name kept appearing in the conversation. It was never about comparing championships, statistics, or careers. Instead, people were discussing business impact, brand value, and the rare ability to attract attention far beyond the basketball court. very few athletes ever reach the stage where nearly every move becomes headline news. Clark appears to be moving closer to that level with every passing week.
And then there was also, shout out to Ken Swift, shout out to Correlation. There was this this video that was put up for Caitlin Clark. Let's take a look at this. I haven't seen it.
Perhaps the most electrifying player.
When I was a kid, I was always dreaming of being in really big moments.
Caitlin Clark. Oh my goodness, let it fly.
Clark with 3 more.
The Caitlin Clark effect.
Cece's powerful, man. She is an ultimate competitor.
When she takes over a game, she can shoot lights out.
She has the world in a chokehold.
When Caitlin's going, it's like a boulder rolling downhill. It's tough to stop.
Clark up and in. What a banger.
You have to guard her the whole court, the whole 94 feet.
We expect to see the magic that we have grown accustomed to when watching Caitlin.
She's changed the game of basketball.
Have fun! Get this, bro!
Oh, yo, how they get Dewana the Scammer Bonner in there? Dewana, you showed up for this? I can't believe they got Dewana the Scammer Bonner in this. I mean, this is the least you could do. After the shenanigans you pulled last season, this is the least you could do.
Every partnership involving Caitlin Clark now seems to become major news. Every public appearance sparks fresh discussion, and every product launch turns into a highly anticipated event. That level of visibility has the power to transform careers, not only for the superstar at the center of the spotlight, but also for the teammates who share it. That brings the story back to Sophie Cunningham. The reason her name became connected to this conversation is surprisingly straightforward. As Clark's spotlight continues growing brighter, the people around her naturally receive more recognition as well. Greater exposure creates new opportunities, builds stronger fan interest, and opens doors that may never have existed before. Meanwhile, the Indiana Fever continue improving, their chemistry keeps developing, and the attention surrounding the franchise grows larger with every game. That says everything about where this team is heading. What started as a conversation about Nike eventually expanded into a discussion about Caitlin Clark's remarkable influence before unexpectedly circling back to Sophie Cunningham. Through every twist, one fact remained impossible to ignore. Clark has become one of the most influential figures in basketball today, and every move connected to her generates another wave of excitement. For the rest of the league, the most remarkable part may be that many fans believe this is only the beginning. If you enjoyed this coverage, be sure to subscribe to Elite Ball Knowledge and turn on notifications so you never miss the next major basketball story.